The world knows Eugene Britt as the quiet killer from Gary, Indiana. But what most people never learned were the stories of the victims who disappeared without a trace, lives erased, families forgotten, and the truth buried under years of silence. Behind every headline was a name, a daughter, a sister, a friend. Many of Britt's victims came from low-income neighborhoods where disappearances didn't make the front page. These were young women and girls who walked home alone, took shortcuts through alleys, trusted familiar streets, only to vanish into the night. Some were never identified. Others were found too late. Their stories faded, but they were real. Years before Britt was caught, there were signs, reports of attempted assaults, police sketches, DNA evidence that sat in backlogs for months. But in a city overwhelmed by violence and poverty, these warnings fell through the cracks. Britt targeted the forgotten, people who lived on the edges of society, and because of that, the system moved slower, if at all. There were at least 3 documented cases where Britt should have been caught earlier. Patterns matched, witnesses spoke, but leads weren't followed. Those delays cost lives. After his arrest, Britt didn't vanish. He spoke. In interviews, he revealed fragments of his thinking, emotionless, detached, almost as if the crimes belonged to someone else. Forensic psychologists observed a man with antisocial personality disorder, little remorse, and a chilling acceptance of what he'd done. He spoke about his victims as objects, about his crimes as if they were inevitable. But what stood out most was his calmness. He didn't hide, he didn't glorify, he simply existed in that darkness. Gary, Indiana in the 1990s was a city in collapse. Factory closures, rising crime, limited resources. And in that chaos, Britt thrived. His victims were from communities rarely given national attention. Missing person cases didn't dominate headlines. DNA technology was still developing. Communication between departments was slow, and predators like Britt learned how to move in the spaces no one was watching. This wasn't just the story of one killer. It was the story of a system unprepared to see him. Today, Britt remains in prison, but the silence he left behind still echoes. For many families, there was no closure, no justice, just missing faces and unanswered questions. His case became a wake-up call, pushing for better tracking of victims, faster forensic testing, and greater attention to vulnerable communities. But it also left a haunting reminder: monsters don't always hide in shadows. Sometimes they walk among us, unnoticed. This was part 2 of the story of Eugene Britt, a story about the victims, the missed warnings, and a system that failed to protect them. In part 3, we'll dive into the dark psychology of the hunt itself, how Britt selected and stalked his victims, and how that chilling pattern mirrors other serial killers across America. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and drop a comment with who I should cover next.